Alright, so we have a 4.7k MMR Zerg from EU, which, let's be real, that's like 5k NA, versus the same Terran. This is a longer replay, so I'm going to do quite a bit of fast forwarding. The guy who sent me this on Reddit said, "Hi, I'm a 4.7k Zerg. This is the same Terran. He went for a mech play, and I had a lot of struggles." So let's see what happens. We're setting up hotkey locations. I'm digging it, but again, you know, this is the MMR difference between EU and NA is pretty insane. Like, there's some serious talent in EU. Not that there's not in NA, there's a lot more of it in EU. I'm excited to see what happens. So we're gonna pull off gas. Still 3 on gas. We're scouting. Okay, we lose a Ling. That's a bit sloppy, but don't tell me we lose a drone too. Okay, woo, we save it. Oh, we could have grabbed the Reaper and got the one shot with that drone and killed it.
New queen awaits your command.
Okay.
The enemy has engaged your brood in combat. A new queen.
I don't mind this decision when we're in like gold platinum league as a Zerg player, because honestly I'd trade out these 4 Lings to force a player of that MMR to micro their little heart out with the Reaper, because I know they're not doing anything else at home. But brother, we're pretty high right now. This is sloppy. We don't need to be chasing our Lings. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's turn back around. I'm happy. We still lost 2 Lings, but our third goes down at a decent time. Did we pull off gas yet? Okay, we did. So we have enough gas, 64. We're getting close. We could go overlord speed if we want, but we got queen production going in the way. How many queens do we have right now? 2. Like, we can go up to way more.
A new queen has emerged from your hive cluster.
Okay, so it's 3:30. We're just now gonna get a scout. This is a bit of a late scout. So let's see what the Terran player's got going on his side of the map. So we've got fast 3rd CC, no starport. So this is a greedy build. Okay? He's going reactor Marines because this is pretty much the only thing he can afford to make to have any sort of defense. Like, he's spending his money. He is going fast 3cc, so we're under no threat. It's been a little while. I like to scout at 3 minutes because that's going to be the tech, right? 3:30 is still not a super late time, but if we had scouted this 30 seconds earlier, our third could have been quicker. Like, we could have been droning this whole time. Yeah, we're just a little bit late to scout that he's a greedy boy.
Evolution process. Your brood descends upon the enemy.
So we got a really good scout there. So in response, we're at 33 drones. If we see fast 3cc, the only like real imminent threat of anything coming our way in the next minute or two is if we are seeing like fast 3cc 211, which just hits a little bit later. But I mean, like, this is a greedy boy. There's not going to be any real imminent threat coming our way. So, like, look at our larva. Like, let's spend it, brother. We can get some drones out like crazy. We don't really have anything for the next minute to be super concerned about. How many queens do we have? 5 queens. And, like, we can always just continue making queen production. Like, honestly, versus Terran, versus Protoss, versus Zerg, you don't want to get that many queens. But versus Terran, you could honestly justify having a inject queen per hatch and, like, 8 queens on creep spread. Because that is your early game defense, and they're always gaining value throughout the entire game. So, yeah, that's just an easy way if you're ever scared of a Terran opening.
Your forces are under
Not that
attack.
3 creep queens is like bad. It's just you could even if you don't want to go all the way up to 8, you could go up to 5 or 6. Like, they're just so good versus Terran specifically early game versus anyone specifically. Okay, so we did notice this. We're gonna fix this a little bit.
Slain.
Okay, that's sloppy. How many kills did this lib get? Yeah, it's got 4. So we don't have a spore here. We don't have a spore here, and we don't have a spore here. The typical time to get a spore down versus Terran is the 4-minute mark blindly, even if we don't know what's coming. Versus Protoss, because they can get their Stargate units out a bit quicker, we want to have them blind down by 3:30, but yeah, 4 minutes for Terran, that's what we're looking for. So we have no spores, we're definitely late. Obviously we scouted triple CC, we can try and cut some corners, sure, but like if this was a battle cruiser and we didn't have a full scout going up, we would be in trouble. Okay, yeah. So, let's see what's going on. So, we are now 6 minutes into the game. We're at 51 drones. It's not super low, but it's low. We could definitely be higher. Losses or whatever. We haven't had any real fights right now. We're scouting with these 2 lings, but it looks like we're going to go for an aggressive run by. There's a tank on the high ground. There's Marines in the mineral line, and he's already choking this off. This does not look like a solid play. We could just save these units. It's also, I just want to point out, at 6 minutes, we still do not have confirmation if this is mech or bio. So that's a big uh-oh.
Descends upon the enemy.
Fourth is going down at a decent time. The lib comes back to poke in. We get that away. All right, floodgates are open. Let's see what we... I wouldn't even be looking for damage. Those banelings can just go home.
Your mutation has completed.
We'd just be looking for a scout. Did we get it? We finally got it. Double factory. So we can at least be pretty confident that this is mech. What we didn't know the entire time is that battle cruiser, which we now have 1 spore in total, don't we? Yep. We've got 1 on the way, none down here. We're about to take some serious damage from this battle cruiser, unless he ports it in there. But our queens are out of position. Not that we could have them in position, we didn't know. Okay, that's a terrible controlled battle cruiser. He's finally starting to click on the drones. I mean, that thing's dead. This spore killed it itself. Oh my god. Okay. I can respect the fact that we're going for a counterattack, but think about it. That battle cruiser killed 4 drones, so 200 minerals, and it died. It didn't kill anything else. That's 400 minerals and 300 gas for him. He just killed his own command center, essentially, to kill 4 drones. So, do we need to move out immediately to counterattack? No, we didn't really take that much damage. I love it. We're pulling back. We realize this is not a fight we want to take. I love it. So we're up to 71 drones. Again, a little bit late on that, but that's still, we're getting to a very solid number. Versus mech, I want to see you be a little bit greedier, because we were just late to identify mech. For the first, like, 8 minutes of the game versus a mech player, the biggest threat you have to worry about is a battle cruiser, a couple cloaked banshees maybe, and Hellion run-bys. All of which can be thwarted with queens and a handful of roaches at each base. Now, obviously, this guy isn't playing Hellions, but we didn't know that this was mech for so long. We could have been way more, like, we could have been so much greedier. Versus mech, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a war of attrition, and it's so hard to take an efficient trade versus mech as Zerg. It's not impossible. With spellcaster support, it is possible, but it's difficult. So one of the easiest ways to get a leg up on your opponent and win in the long game, when it's literally, you know, the war of attrition and every unit counts, is to get an extra base. If we can get 1 extra base than our opponent, we can be slightly, I don't want to, I use that in very loose terms, but we can be slightly more reckless with our units. So we need to be greedy. Because again, playing versus a solid mech player, they're not going to be moving out with their entire mech army until at least 2-2. That's that danger zone. When they get 2-2, that's a deadly push. But he doesn't even have any upgrades on the way.
A mineral field has been...
Okay, I want to pause this. This is 4.7k in EU. That truly is like 5k MMR in NA. What the fuck is this Terran doing? He has no upgrades. He's playing like a greedy boy single player, but what does he have for army? He's got 17 Marines with 0 upgrades, 6 tanks, a Liberator, and a battle cruiser that already lost to a Spore Crawler, so he made another one. We get Changelings to block. Like, what the fuck is this Terran player doing? I don't understand. We have a nice little Baneling run by in the way. Like, this is just so strange. Okay. Back to your point of view.
Descends upon the enemy.
So, yeah, we're not going to get anything done with that. Because we killed the depots. Didn't supply block them.
Combat. The enemy is exterminating your drones.
We got Burrow. That's cheeky. I like it. Queen's in position. That's a little bit late. But whatever. We dealt with it. Our units 69 to 77. Yeah, come on. We got to pick this up. So we have 22 available larvae. 2 injects for energy. No inject queued. 1 inject queued. No queen to be found. This one has an inject. This one's on the way. Finally have an inject there. Like, we have a lot of larvae. We have a lot of money. We don't have a ton of drones.
Your mutations.
Okay, I don't hate the mutas because in low numbers, like battle cruisers, mutas actually deal with them quite well. Once there's like 3 or more, then mutas are just not the unit. But how many mutas did we make? 11. I mean, we have the gas. We're not overmaking them. I'm okay with that.
The enemy is engaged.
Oh no, that's a wicked widow mine from him. And we looked away. We're gonna lose a lot of mutas. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the losses. Yeah. So when I see this as a Zerg player, we're not that early into the game. Like we're pretty, like, this is mid to late game already, right? And he's still hunkering down on 4 bases. It's really hard for Terran to move out of this quadrant. Like, this base is really tough, and this base is really tough, and this base is next to impossible for the Terran to hold. It's difficult. But he's hunkering down. The fact that we see 3 CCs, you know, probably 1 or 2 of these are going to be a planetary. Like, he is playing full-on Turtle Terran. We need to stop making Lings and Banes. We need to stop trying to attack into the Turtling Terran, and we need to outgreed the Greedy Boy. Okay? It's, even if we broke him, with the amount of money that he's invested into his defenses, we don't have a massive bank behind it. There's still lots of retail space available on the map, and we're going to throw away way more than he ever invested to try and break him. It's just, it's not a worthwhile trade. Playing against Turtle Terrans can be frustrating if you let them get to this turtle position, but once we're here, we have to quickly realize we're here. You know, we can throw away some Lings and Banes here and there as, like, run-bys. Absolutely. Baneling drops are a really effective way to get some damage done, but, like, we need to outgreed the Greedy Boy. That's just what we need to do. So I do like, at least, that, you know, we triple expanded. Let's get some retail space down. Let's get some creep spread going. Our creep spread's okay, but, like, this is... We've had almost no harassment. We had the shittiest battle cruiser push that, like, I mean, opening, that he lost the battle cruiser for 4 drones to a Spore. Let's get some creep going, man. We could be right on his front door by now.
Your mutation has completed.
Okay, so we're jumping right into Broodlord Infestor. I mean, I dig it for the fact that we already have our melee upgrades and everything. Like, do we even have a Roach Warren in this game? No. We know it's mech. We don't have a Hydralisk Den. We don't have a Roach Warren. We're playing Lingbane Muta versus mech, and we've gotten away with it. Yeah, we do have a Roach Warren on the way now.
The enemy assaults your forces are under attack.
Nice little bit of damage here. Lings being annoying. Like, this, we have the money for this. Send some Lings, be annoying. Absolutely, I love it. Yeah, so how many of those did you get turned into planetaries? Yeah, 2 of them. So we are at 81 drones, 9 more in production. We're finally starting to get a bit greedy. I think a lot of this, what's going to come down is we're just a little bit too little too late. Like, look, we let him take this base. He's turtled up. These are his defenses. When I say outgreed the greedy boy, we did. We're taking drone bases, we're getting drones, all of that. But when I said these bases are hard to take, they're fucking hard to take. And he has all of his defenses down here. These are all static defenses. They're not moving, right? So we're not getting in here without a lot of units lost. But we can absolutely shut this down or prevent it, ideally, from ever going up. We want to take this base. We want to keep him contained where he built all of his defenses and say, okay, you know what? If that's what you want, you're hunkering down here, that's all you get. And we take everything else, and we don't let him get anything else. We got a bunch of spines going down. I don't really dig it, because spines are they're really clunky. They're going to bulk up. They're going to get your army in the way. Like, if we're going to make a bunch of spines, like, put them at bases, protect our drones and stuff against run-bys. But if we're trying to just do a worker dump, make spores. Like, we got battle cruisers going on. Like, spores are just going to be infinitely more better than a bunch of spines.
Will you not defend them?
So it's Thor battle cruiser. Like, that's a big dick comp. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to engage this. Obviously, Broodlords, since the last patch, have the same range as Thors. In a straight-up fight, Thors will win, but I wouldn't say Broodlords counter Thors or Thors counter Broodlords in any way. It's just Broods need spellcaster support and positioning now. Like, Broods can absolutely take a fight with Thors. It just can't be head-on. You just can't move them in. We have the Infestor support. We don't have any Vipers. We have enough Corruptor. We don't have enough Corruptors. How many do we have? We've got 8 Corruptors. What are our upgrades? We've got 1 for them. We've got 6 more in the way. Okay, so we've got enough Corruptors to initially deal with battle cruisers. If we had a couple Vipers and we can abduct, keep them back, same as Thor's, abduct, let the Broods do it. We definitely need some Vipers in this army.
Your brood descends upon the enemy.
So yeah, we let this go up. Like, this was on us. This should have never happened. But we still have the Ling here. So even though this is up and he gets an extra base, we can take this, we can take this, and we can take this, and prevent him from ever getting them.
The enemy mineral field your brood in north location blocked. Your brood descends upon the enemy.
So our control group setup is pretty nice. I like that we have everything split apart. Like, our broods are separate. It's awesome.
You've gathered all of their...
And look, we shut that down. How awesome. Okay, whoa. Let's not commit to a fight. Let's not get too eager here. He can't hold this base. That's one thing. We can't take this fight. Not like this. Oh, and that Raven's anti-armor missile's just going off, so... Oh, let's do this in slow motion, see what happens. Okay, so we get a couple fungals, we keep everything back. We're not really targeting all that well with our Corruptors. We even got caught doing just a standard move command, so we took an extra volley, we missed a shot. Oh, the losses there were bad. Okay, moving on. We still have 91 drones. We're still being a greedy boy. Army supply is obviously heavily in his favor. Yeah. What do we have in production behind this? A bunch more Broods and Corruptors. We really need Vipers. Vipers are not gonna, like, Vipers aren't gonna win us the game right now, but we definitely need Vipers, because eventually they're gonna be a key unit that...
You've depleted a mineral cluster.
It's just gonna be the only way we can get any sort of efficient trades. Again, so our creep spread, he hasn't moved anywhere on this side of the map. and we just have no creep out there. We've got these tumors have been sitting idle for a long time. We don't have vision if he's trying to take these bases, which he's not, but we're letting him reestablish up here. We have to. We took such a bad engagement there.
Your brood has developed a new mutation.
I'm gonna slow it down because it looks like we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna try and shut this down again. Okay.
The enemy has
Pause right there. We have vision of the Hellions coming in. What happened to all those spines we built? There's one sitting there. Okay, we at least are making some use of them, but we don't have anything over here. Oh, we do. Well, ignore what I said.
Your hive cluster is threatened. Your forces are under attack.
Okay. Oh. Okay, we did get the neurals, but he got the scan off. We dealt with them. Fun little trick, especially if we have the corruptor numbers. If we can get the neural, the first thing I like to do, instead of using Yamato or anything, is actually just use their tactical jump. If you can get a neural off and just instantly tactical jump, puts it on cooldown for when the neural's done, so we can just guarantee the kill with our corruptors.
Your base is under attack.
So we're gonna deny this. We need to. Okay. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're losing our queens for nothing. We're losing our brood lords for nothing. What are we looking at? Oh no! And we're losing on all fronts. And what do we have going on behind this? Larva capped. 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 We have nothing in production. We have no queens left. We have no injects. And we have 64 larvae. We don't have a massive... Well, we do have a pretty good-sized bank. So this is just another inefficient trade. But if we're able to remax, which we should be able to, as long as he doesn't push across the map and destroy us right now, and we can get a hold of these, keep a stronghold, and not take another shitty fight, even though the losses are getting out of control, we could still win this game. But it's all going to come down to, like, we have, like, one more shitty engagement like that. Because that could be game right there. Okay. So he's got 6 battle cruisers and 9 Thors. I dig the fact that we do need the corruptor count. We only have 7. But do we need to make 15 right now? Like, all we need is a couple Vipers, and we could just yoink them back. We can yoink these Ravens. Like, there's a lot we can do. It seems we're, like, I'm happy to see the fact that we had some Infestors, but it seems like we're really reluctant to use Vipers here.
Your mutation has
And, like, Vipers versus mech?
Your forces are under attack.
How you made it to 4.7k without using them is impressive in itself. Like,
A new queen
they're just
awaits
so
your command.
crucial.
Your extractor has run dry. You've harvested all the Vespine that geyser has.
Okay, 20 minutes into the game, we have our first Viper queued up. I mean, better late than never, but this, yeah. So, I'm just going to speed this up until the last engagement, because, like, let's look at this, okay? It's 32,000 resources lost. Army supply heavily in his favor. What does he have? He's already done his SCV dump, so he's down to 42 workers. He's got 9 Thors, 5 tanks, 6 battle cruisers, and 5 Ravens. Upgrade-wise, he's got 333. He is looking pretty. He's expanding here. He's broken out of his quadrant. He's going to be expanding down here soon. He's going to shut this down. We've lost 34 drones. Oh, 45, sorry. We're not in a good position. And I think a lot of it, we put ourselves in. First off, we took 2 unnecessary, terrible fights. I love the fact that we were harassing with the Broodlords. That was great. But we needed to pull back when that fight was about to happen. And we made the first mistake, whatever, but we made the second mistake too. And we're very hesitant. We're just trying to brute force this without spellcasters. So we've just put ourselves in such a bad position. And we're letting him play the slow game. We're letting him play the game he wants. He is slowly but surely taking over the map. He's got the units he wants to use for the rest of the game. He can just keep repairing them. Ooh, he's just going to be more efficient than us. So
Your hive
we
clusters. The enemy is exterminating
we need
your drone.
spellcasters.
You've gathered
So let's
all
speed this
available
up.
minerals from- The enemy has engaged your brood in
We're
combat.
looking aggressive here. We're looking like we're trying to fight. I mean, we are maxed, but not on great units. Like, we got 26 roaches. Is that really what we want right now at 22 minutes? Taking free damage. Our control is getting a bit sloppy here. It's been a long game. I can respect the fact that we're starting to get sloppy. Our creep spread is still... It's been like... Brother, it's been like close to 15 minutes these tumors haven't moved.
A mineral. Your mutation is completed.
While there's been a lot in the last couple minutes, the first 10 minutes was pretty much just yours.
You've
You can
depleted
get some
the-
yoinks. A little late.
Your forces are under attack.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it here because this is a really... We're 23 minutes in the game. We're maxed out on units that we don't really want to be using forever, okay? Like, we have 27 roaches. That's a lot of roaches. It's a lot. 23 corruptors. That's a lot of corruptors. But he does have 12 battle cruisers, so at least they're well justified, right? Like, this is just a lot of roaches. He's dumped even more SCVs. He's down to 25. And he's slowly taking over the rest of the map. If we're up against a mech player, we can either bust them early enough and just win the game before they get up and running, but he's up and running. So our only chance, like I said, is we just have to play it slow. We have to outgreed the greedy boy. We have to prevent him from getting these bases, and he's just taking these bases. So even if we get this one, he's going to contain you, and this will be the last base you'll ever get. He's going to take this one, he's going to take this one, he's going to take this one, he's going to take this one. He will get more resources than you, constantly be more effective than you, and you're just going to bleed dry. So we're not really doing any favors to ourselves.
Mineral field exhausted. Perhaps it's time to consider a hidden base.
So he's
Your
made it
extractor
so
has run
difficult to
dry.
get any decent angle. These battle cruisers are gaining so much value. So we finally freed up a little bit of supply. What are we going to go into? A couple infestors. And more roaches. We don't
The
need
enemy
more
is
roaches, brother.
exterminating your drone. Your spread of your creep has been compromised.
And this is, yeah, I can already predict the ending of this game. It's death by 1,000 cuts. He's gonna make sure that you never get any more resources. He's doing to you what you should have been doing to him.
Engaged your brood in combat. Your brood has developed a new mutation. Your base is under attack.
Oh, I also just want to say we're getting upgrades for lurkers. Yeah, we got both the upgrades for lurkers. Lurkers versus mech. No. We don't want to be doing that, brother. We don't. It's just not effective. It's not what we want, because one of the core units for a mech player is a siege tank, which already pretty much fucks up lurkers. But we're going lurkers and lurker upgrades for his couple of... Like, he's got a good chunk of Thors, don't get me wrong. He's got 10 Thors, but he's got 13 battle cruisers. Like, he's got so many orbitals. He's got scans for days. Those lurkers are not going to accomplish anything, and we're already being choked out on resources. Like, we don't have a fresh base left, and we don't have anything in production, and we're going to spend our money on lurker upgrades?
Solution complete.
Yeah, it's just...
Your extractor has run dry.
We can't be efficient.
Your brood descends upon the enemy.
There's no possible way we're getting a decent trade with this armor. It's getting out of control. Look at the losses. 20 to 50. He's been 80% more effective than us with his units.
You've depleted a mineral cluster. Mineral field. Your forces are under attack.
So I'm gonna pause it
Your base.
pretty much here. This is a good spot, okay? So at this point, we're out of gas. Like, we're fucked. We have 2 Hydralisks, 34 Corruptors, 5 Vipers. Everything was just late, and it was very odd. Like, especially the lurker stuff. That's really throwing me off. We had so much time in the beginning of the game, and we just didn't capitalize on it. These creep tumors have now been idle for like probably 20 minutes. No creep spread, minimal vision, and we just allowed this to happen to us. We did get a bit of a late scout initially to see that he was going fast 3cc and that he was being a greedy boy, but we still got it within a reasonable amount of time. We just needed to outgreed him, contain him on his bases, and never let him expand from here or here onwards. And we let it happen. And we let him get to these battle cruisers, and we just took terrible fights, and we were so late to get to spellcasters. I hope this gave you some insight. I hope this helped a little bit. Good luck, have fun, man.